It doesn't need to have a protest rally or a political debate or some kind of electoral ballot to decide whether we want this or not want this. Because God knows that it's all in divine order. It's all unfolding in that right and perfect way. We really are on a journey. It's a journey called life. And it's eternal. And right now it's in this very dense form of human being. And you have the opportunity to look at this life as a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Because it will never again be like this. It will be something else. As I've been saying for the last couple of months, the world is coming to an end in the way that we know it. It's changing. This is nothing new. It's been changing ever since it started. It is forever moving forward into another experience. Our bodies are forever moving forward into another experience. If you're dragging your feet, trying to live back there someplace, sometime, somewhere, or if you're dreaming way too much about what could be, ought to be, or should be, then you've missed the opportunity to be here, right now, whatever the condition may be. Even though it may be something that you're not really excited about. The excitement and the enthusiasm comes from the knowing that I can change this. I have an influence over it. I can make a choice in my mind. I can begin to start to plant a new seed into the universal law that says, I do know that I'm whole, perfect, and complete. And I do know that I'm not in this alone. And I do know that there are so many others out there that can assist me, that can guide me, that can facilitate something that I may need. So I claim and declare and know that the medical professionals that I go to, that I attend to, are the ones that are perfect for me. They may not be for you, but they are for me. I'm knowing that the people that I meet on a daily basis are the exact right individuals that I need to meet today, because they have something that they can share with me that's going to make me a better me. If I'm open and willing to receive that, to observe that, to see that. But how can you recognize that if you're so caught up in your own self-consciousness? It's about, oh, what am I going to wear today? How will I look? And and what if somebody else were to wear a sweater like mine? And has my hair been coiffed in right the perfect way? That's not really a problem for me. Or what if I were to, sneeze during my message? What kind of a message would that be? Yeah. And so how do I show up? And so I'm all caught up into the appearance, and then I forget that you're all sitting out there looking beautiful and wonderful and marvelous and loving and bright and enthusiastic. What a great group you are. Yeah. We should have the video camera up here. We should be scanning the crowd. See, these are beautiful people. And you all have shown up here today for a divine purpose. You may not know it. You may not fully realize it. But you have shown up today for a divine purpose in this time, in this place. You are making the difference in the world. You are making a difference in the person in front of you, behind you, next to you, on either side of you. Something within your presence is bringing forth a little bit more light, a little bit more joy, a little bit more love. And it doesn't take a lot of effort to give that out. A simple smile, a nod of the head, an acknowledgement by looking in the eyes of someone. You don't have to say anything. Just acknowledge them, that they're here today, living life, sharing together in this gathering of what we know as the philosophy of science of mind, where there is a divine nature at work. That this divine nature has the ability to know perfection. And out of that perfection, it begins to plant the seed to instill the thought into the universal law that can only respond with yes. Only respond with yes. And then sets into motion for whatever time it's going to take for something to come into form and into manifestation. And try not to get caught up into worrying about what is the time. What is time? I am so pleased because I heard that Ricky spoke for 40 minutes the Sunday that he was here. I think I've been reprieved. I let you out at 35. But we have this opportunity to acknowledge the very moment in which we're in. The very time that is right here, right now. And we have the power and the presence within us to co-create the life experience that we want to have. That's how we reenact the divine nature. We begin by reasoning. Now, the experience in the human form is that most often we reason from the deductive side. We look at something that is already in experience, already in existence, and then we begin to work in that sense of almost working backwards to find the truth. Okay, so, for example, there's a tree that's out here. Well, then I can deduce that in some place, sometime, there must have been a seed or a seedling that was planted there in order for that tree to emerge. It didn't just emerge one day out of the invisible as a tree. It had to begin as a thought, a seed. Everything comes from a thought. Everything that is in form, somebody first had a thought. Somebody had to think about this podium in order for it to come into creation. How were they going to get the material? How were they going to put it together? How was it going to stand here? How was it going to be created? Everything begins with a thought. So if we're having, I don't know, science has said something like a couple of million thoughts every hour or so. Do you have any idea how much stuff we're creating? Isn't it marvelous that the universal law is universal? That it can respond to all of us all the time, instantaneously, for all the thoughts that we have? And just keeps creating and recreating and more and more and more. And we just keep asking for more and more and more. And before it arrives, we've already changed our mind. We're asking for something different. And the universal law doesn't say, oh, I don't know, I got a whole list of things you wanted here first. Let me get done with that. The universal law just keeps saying yes, yes, yes. So you forgot about where you started on the list. 5 years down the road, it begins to show up. But the form is a little bit different because in the meantime, you've added all of these other conditions to it that begins to look like something different than what you may have originally intended.